The fifth episode of Hijack is here. I'm going to give you my thoughts and reactions, as well as a little bit of update on what's going to be happening with this YouTube channel as we go forward. I'll give you all that right after the jump. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. I'm probably going to stop saying that for these last two episodes. Just as an update, the elephant in the room, Sag-Aftra is on strike. If you're not aware, Sag-Aftra is on strike. Understandably so, and I 100% agree and stand with everyone who was trying to get their paper, because what they are trying to get across for a lot of the workers and writers with the WGA as well is insanity. If you haven't looked up any of that stuff, you should, because man, they are trying to pull some fast ones on folks. It's mostly around streaming dollars and around the way that AI is sort of used for productions. Neither here nor there. I bring all this up because, unfortunately for me, I am going to also have to stop doing reviews on this channel. Hijack is going to be the last one that I can continue on, and I can continue on doing that because it falls under equity. It's a UK show, so it doesn't follow the SAG-AFTRA rules. So I feel comfortable still going ahead and doing reviews for this. This doesn't affect a lot of reviewers and influencers, as they will, because they are non-union. And typically wouldn't affect me, because if I considered myself to be a film reviewer, I'd be 100% okay. But I think I'm in that weird sort of nebulous where I am not a film critic. I don't have the accolades or whatnot to be considered that. I fall more into the way that they describe things as the influencer, although I hate that term. But because of that, I have to sort of hedge my bets and sort of play it safe, because also I am in SAG. I am, unlike a lot of the folks who are continuing on, folks who are non-union, they can continue to do what they want to do. But because I am a SAG member, have been for quite some time now as an actor, I have to kind of just pause everything until situation gets worked out. So for those of you who have just joined, I love you guys all. Appreciate you having you, Natasha. I see you. I love you guys all being here. But once this Hijack series is over, I'm going to have to put a pause on both the podcast and the YouTube channel, just for the purposes of maintaining and continuing and standing strong with those that are in SAG. All that said, let's get on to episode 5 of Hijack, called Less Than an Hour. This episode picks up right after the last, where Stuart is coming back to check on Lewis. And we quickly find out that he and Lewis are related, because he says, I called mom. So he kind of gives Sam gets the heads up. They're like, oh, they are tied together. That I might use that as leverage. So his brain started doing the turn. You can see the wheels turn, and he starts to come and think up what the next plan is. As he's making his way back to the seat, he looks at the co-pilot's name tag. Her name's Anna. And I guess for all flight, I don't know if this is the case, but at least for this one, any co-pilots or pilots have the flag of their origin on there, and hers is a flag of Hungary, which he comes to find out by doing some nice little coloring and asking people like, "Hey, what's this flag?" He finds out that it's Hungary, and then his brain starts twirling a little bit more. What I've noticed about this particular episode, I've seen it before, and I kind of placed that disinterest on the way that it was shot. But anytime that we're not on the plane, my brain starts to kind of lose focus with the show. Whenever we start dealing with the folks on the ground, I'm like, I don't care about these folks. Because when it's on in the plane, it's so intense, and you can feel intensity from moment to moment. And each time that we sort of go to the ground and watch a bunch of people not do their jobs well, or ask questions that we as an audience already know, it's kind of like, oh, come on, guys, get to it. So this was the first time that I really felt that, because I think this episode is probably one of the most intense, and a lot of that gets sort of the gas taken out of it when we go check in with the folks in grounds crew, or in the offices, the government agencies. That said, in the government agencies, they're deciding to, instead of focusing on necessarily the hijackers themselves, they're going to place all their interest on the hijackers' families to sort of figure out if there's any way to get screws around them and find out more information about them to see what it is they want, because they don't have the demands yet. They don't have the demands. The demands are present. We know that the demands are present, but they don't have them yet. But they're just trying to figure out who these people are, what makes them tick, so they can kind of maybe get a leg up on them. When that happens, they then get the demands. And the demands are basically that there are true prisoners that have been wrongfully imprisoned, and they want them to be released. Otherwise, that plane and its 200 some non-passengers are going to die. Simple as that. That's what they want. They want to free those prisoners. And as we go along in the episode, we realize that some of these hijackers may not, not some of these hijackers, all of these hijackers may not be doing this for the goodness of whatever cause they have. They may be doing it because they have something at stake. Sam goes up to Stewart and is like, hey, yo, we need to land this plane. We need to land this plane because the doctor says that your brother's got less than an hour to live. Now, mind you, Stewart had just asked the doctor, like, hey, my brother's going to be fine. He's like, he's going to be fine. So at that point, Stewart's like, look, I'm going to go back here now. If that doctor doesn't say that my brother has less than an hour, I'm going to kill this woman. He points to the flight attendant, puts a gun to her head, I'm going to kill her. So it's a pretty intense moment where as he's walking back to the back of the plane, Sam is telling the flight attendant, call to the back now. We got to let them know less than an hour. Just get this in your head. He just repeats it over and over again. Doesn't really give him a way to say, but you got to say less than an hour, because by the time he gets there, Stewart gets to the back and he's like, real quick, my brother, how much time does he have? He's like, he got less than an hour. Whew, man, I was pissing bullets there for a minute, but we made it through. We got that part done. So it's at that point that Stewart's like, all right, well, then I got to get my brother down. It's at this point that Lewis, his brother, who is pretty much on his death, but he's dying there, but still has enough time with the windpipe. He's going to be okay. He'll be able to make it through as long as that stays in place. But he's basically saying, none, we can't do that. We have a mission. We have a goal. We have to continue on no matter who it is. We have to continue on. And Stewart's like, nah, I'm saving my brother. I don't care about any of this. We visit back with the folks on the floor, and the UK government is basically saying that they don't think that the people who are putting these demands have the balls to do anything. Like, they're not going to harm anybody. They're going to harm. This is just a paper threat. Until they actually harm somebody, we're not going to really take them that serious. Cool, that's a dumb idea. So Stewart takes the idea of landing the plane back to Jamie, the female hijacker of the crew, and she's cold as hell about it, like, nah, cool, we're not gonna do that. He's like, y'all grew up together. He's like, yeah, cool. We all did that, all that. We're not landing this plane. And Stewart kind of ignores her and is like, I'm gonna go do my own thing. He calls the pilot up to come and say, hey, can we land this? Can we get this landed into this place? Now, mind you, Sam had already sort of spoken to him. It's like, this is sort of going to be the play. To which the pilot says, we can land it, but we're going to have to momentarily turn on all of these screens so I can see which is the closest air station to land at, and then hope to God that they let us land. And he's like, wait, hope to God? Why wouldn't they let us land? It's like, well, most airports aren't going to just be like, cool, come let the hijack plane just land. We're going to have to kind of talk to them and see what they will do for us. Meanwhile, Jamie goes back to Terry and then was like, we can't land this plane because they know that there is more at stake for them than just whether or not his brother lives. Sam runs to the back while Stewart is up there with the pilot. He runs to the back to go speak to Anna, the co-pilot. The co-pilot, remember, for a couple episodes, the pilot, main pilot, just bashed the crap in. And she was like, oh, no, you can't open that door. Yeah, her. And he's like, you need to go up here and I need you to fly this plane. I need you to speak to the Hungarian folks to get us to land. And she's like, well, they speak English. She's like, I know that. They don't know that. And I need you to kind of go back and forth and speak English to them, but speak Hungarian to deliver them some news about what's going on here. And she's like, okay, cool. So Sam goes with her to the front, to the cockpit, and sees that her original pilot is there with them. She's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Stewart, I'll do whatever. He can't be here. Understandably so. Because the last time that I was up here, the last time I was around here, this man bashed my freaking face in. So now I don't want him around. So she just runs the pilot. She just runs the plane. She starts communicating with the tower to where to land. She's speaking to them, saying like, "Hey, can we land?" This blah blah blah. She's saying certain things in English. The stuff that's like, "Yo, we need an ambulance. We need this. We need that. We need doctors. We need doctors at the ready." And then Hungarian, she's saying, "Yo, we still being hijacked. Shit is real up here. Y'all need to come. It's about to get down. Like y'all need to have stuff ready to go." And kind of saying like, "Yes, they plan to take back off once we get here. So do what you got to do, but like make sure we're not able to do that." Everyone on the plane starts seeing that the plane is descending. They're like, "Oh, we're heading down," and people start kind of getting their hopes up. They're like, "Wait, we're heading down? Okay, we're heading down. Cool. This is bet. Say less. We're heading down." What is baffling about this piece to me, I get that Sam has sort of set this up and put this into motion. I don't quite buy that Stuart and Jamie are going to let him just hang out in the cockpit while Anna is delivering this message. And I know he's delivering to them, and he kind of makes his purpose a little bit make more sense because he's like, "Hey, they need an ambulance." He's telling them what they need so that they can get Lewis the proper help. But it doesn't feel like it makes a whole hell of a lot of sense that he was even able to stand there before getting to that point. So it just feels a little bit disingenuous. He ends up making it make sense, but it's just weird at first. It's at this point that the FPCC calls the government in the UK and lets them know that the Hungarian folks have gotten a request to land. They know that it's the hijack plane. And they're like, "Well, what are they planning to do?" It's like they're still trying to make a decision. They don't know what they want to do yet. But they're still kind of going up in arms. And because Anna is continuing to communicate with them in both English and Hungarian, they eventually get the calls like, "Cool, we're going to be armed at the teeth when you guys land, but we'll be here ready. You guys have permission to land." So they get the permission to land. Folks back in the government are kind of like, "All right, cool. Well, this should end all of this. We should be good at this point. Everything's fine." And it seems like in the perfect world, end of the show. Nothing else to worry about. They're going to land, take care of Lewis, get him out of there, and then stop these hijackers. But then Terry comes to the cockpit and he sees what's happening, and he says that to Stuart that this ain't the mission. This is not what we're supposed to be doing. And he's like, "No, it's my brother. I don't care about the mission right now. This is what I got to do." At which point Terry gets a hold of Sam and is like, "Yo, Sam, real quick, let me holler at you. We aren't doing this on our own accord. There are people above us. We're puppets." Basically, he comes out and says that we are all puppets. They have stuff on all of us, and they're trying to hold us in line, hold us in tow. And if we aren't doing what they need to do, if this plan lands, they're going to kill people that we care about, and they're going to kill people that you care about because they had your name, Sam Nelson. Like they had your name fully. Then we send it to them. They know who you are. Your family is in danger. At which point, Sam is kind of like, "Well, crap. Now I've pushed the chips all in on this plane landing to save these people. But if this plane lands and I save these people, I now damage and hurt my own family." Oh, that's a crazy spot to get in, and that's some good television. Well done. On the ground, Daniel, by way of the UK government, says, "Hey, all right, look, first person we're going to go look at Stuart and Lewis's mom." She goes to check on them, and she's kind of she knows that she's in trouble. It's like they're doing things that not of their own accord. But she eventually gets the slip on Daniel, more so because she doesn't want them to take her or the other folks to take her. She's kind of just like, "I'm going to take myself away from the situation and let my kids hopefully be able to work this stuff out." So she goes and basically commits roadkill, suicide. And Daniel, I have a feeling he's going to get a talking to because you kind of failed at this mission. You had her locked up, and she said she needed to go to the tissue, and you just didn't check on her for a bit and let her go. So after Elaine's gone, we start seeing some shots of the cleaners, the folks that cleaned up that one spot. The neighbors across the way go over to go see them, and they kind of have kept an eye on them. Like, "Hey, look, something's wrong. Somebody went in there to clean, came out, and then we've never seen the people come back in or out of that place. So you might want to go check in there." So they basically get the police and stuff to come. So they're coming to go investigate that place because something doesn't seem on the up and up. And we start seeing the cleaners go from one location to another, and they get to a place where Kai is at. So basically now we're in a point where Sam has put into motion this irreversible plan to land this plane. Can't really get out of it. They're armed to the teeth at the bottom of the air tarmac, ready to stop this plane. And we see a shot of it coming down out of the clouds and about to land. To which point Sam goes to Stuart like, "We got to land." He completely was like, we can't land. We can't land now. And Stewart's like, you told me to land. Like, what are you talking about? My brother said we got to land. He's like, my brother is now specifically saying he's asking you not to land. And at one point, Stewart goes to the back to go see him, and his brother is dead. And he starts freaking out to Sam, and Sam's like, no, wait, look. He took out, and he has the pin that was helping him stay alive to help him to stay alive breathing. He has it in his hand. He took it out. Because he took it out, he's basically self-sacrificed. Like, I don't want you to land because of me. The mission is more important. Saving whoever it is we need to save and keeping folks that we care about alive is more important than putting me and saving me. This mission needs to continue on as it is. It's at that point that Sam calls to the cockpit, lets them know, we're not landing. Don't land. Because they abort, they go back up. The folks and the tarmac are given a note to stand down, don't engage with the plane. They let the plane continue on. The FPCC is now tracking it again, and the UK team are kind of like, well, crap. That was our one time that we were going to sort of be able to stop them. We can't. Then they see that these folks are real. And because they see that these folks are real, they now get images because the police do infiltrate the place where the cleaners were. They see the 3 dead bodies, the 2 of the wife, of the girl and her family member, don't know if a spouse or whatever, that was staying with them, and then our air traffic person that was following up on it. All 3 of them dead, killed. You see those photos, and they're like, "Yep, you think they're real yet? Because I think we might need to start paying a little bit more attention, start playing ball with these folks." And that's the episode. A very intense episode, very well done episode. Because once you realize that the hijackers themselves are pawns, thus Sam is now sort of intertwined with them even more than he probably anticipated to. His family's in danger. So it's now not just about him saving the folks on their plane. He now has to save the folks on his plane, as well as Kai, who has seemed to be at the end of this episode in a very precarious position because the cleaners are there with him and sort of have him dead to rights. Again, I think the time this show spins away from the plane, it loses a bit of esteem. But when it's in that plane mode, man, it's just some gripping and invigorating television. I can't wait to see what happens next. Like I said, with everything, I will continue on with these last 2 episodes for Hijack, and then who knows, maybe I'll find something else I can talk about on this channel. But for now, anything that has struck work, film or television, I will be avoiding until everything is back on the up and up. So if you have any suggestions of stuff that I can talk about that doesn't exist in the SAG TV or film world, please let me know, because I would love to continue on and just have some conversations with all of you. But for now, I will continue on with Hijack. What did you guys think about this episode of Hijack, episode 5, called Less Than an Hour? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadydidit@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name that's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that plays podcasts, we're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.